All right, so this is the What's in the Sky talk for late June and early July. So let's see. Tonight we are meeting. Actually, we're not meeting on the lands of the Bunurong or Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung peoples of the Kulin Nation. However, I am currently broadcasting from the lands of the Bunurong and Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people of the Kulin Nation because I'm south of the Yarra. So now I'm going to be talking about, as I normally do, general conditions at this time of year. Now, of course, the spoiler is that it's solstice time, so I'll be talking a little bit about that. Then, then I'll be talking about where the moon, the planets, orientation in terms of constellations and bright stars, and then I'll go through the targets for tonight, visual and photographic, and probably talking about 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Finally, I'll finish up with some things to look out for this month. So, general conditions at this time of the year. Obviously, we're nearly at the solstice. Solar declination, that's the angle the sun is above the Earth's equator, is about as far north as it gets. That is as far from Australia as it gets. So night length is as long as it gets at this time of year. Here's a little graph of it. So the winter solstice is where that blue line, that's the solar declination, moves as far as it gets to the north. It's around about the 21st of June. The equinoxes are when the solar declination is zero, that is, it's above the Earth's equator. And summer solstice, at least summer solstice in Australia, is at the end of December. So we are in, well, the darkest time, which is the start of the coldest time of the year in Australia. Oh, that's just another way of looking at the same thing. The solar declination is high at the moment, so should I say furthest north. So down in Australia, we see the sun at a very low angle. So the night length is going to start to decrease from the 21st of June, and tonight sunset was about 5:10, dark about an hour later. Next month, that's going to go back to 5:05. So as you can see, at this time of year, it doesn't actually move very much. It moves mostly at the equinoxes. Sunrise tomorrow is about 7:30. Could be about dark for a little bit more than an hour before that. And next month, that's going to move again only 5 minutes. So sunrise next month is typically 7:30 a.m. So solstice in Melbourne is like 21st of June. That's during the day this time around. It's 1 p.m. The highest the sun gets on that day, at least, is only 28 degrees and 45 minutes. You probably won't tell the difference between that and the day before. Sun is directly over the Tropic of Cancer. That's the one in the green box. So you can see that the sun is shining from above, like the northern half of the sky. So Australia gets plunged into mostly darkness, well, at least a lot of it. The shortest day in the southern hemisphere is 14 hours and 27 minutes in Melbourne, and this is a little sun graph I picked from Time and Date, I think it was. Yeah, that shows that that the sun, the length of the day is in the middle, is minimised in the middle there. Sunset is as far as north as it gets, and this is the Wurdi Youang Solar Observatory in it's west of the Bay of Port Phillip Bay. As you can see, in winter, it's way up there to the right. So that's as far as north as it gets. So what does this all mean? It's the start of winter. The official start of the winter is not the calendar start of winter. The official start of winter is the solstice. So for younger astronomers, this might be a little bit complicated, but there is a link there, a couple of PDFs. So if you find this interesting or intriguing, have a look at the PDF and see what you can do. Do you have a globe? If you don't, a blown up balloon will do. Now the globe is going to have a northern poles. They're kind of tilted on a globe because the Earth's rotation is tilted as well. Now on the balloon, use a marker pen to draw some lines of longitude and get an old astronomer to help you with this. This is your globe and you hold it slightly on a tilt. So now in a dark room, you put the lamp on the floor and you walk around the lamp in a circle, keeping the north pole of the globe tilted in the same direction, like say towards the television or a window or something like that. So you can see that as you go around holding the globe, it tilts and the tilt rotates. This shows how the sun's light hits the tilted Earth at different times of the year. Now, the border between the lit part of the globe and the shadowed part of the globe, that's night and day, is called the terminator. It's going to be back. So where are you? This is a question. Where are you when the terminator is furthest from the North Pole? In Australia, which is near the bottom of the globe, we call this the winter solstice, and it's cold. Can you explain why? Similarly, where are you when the terminator is furthest from the South Pole? In Australia, this is called the summer solstice, and it's hot. Again, can you explain why? So where are you when the terminator goes through both poles? And does this happen once or twice as you go around in the circle? And these are called equinoxes. Would that be hot or cold in Australia, or maybe somewhere in the middle? Now your challenge is to explain what this experiment means to the old astronomers. Okay. Now for the selenologists, that's the cheese lovers, the full moon is today. If you walk out, you will see actually, if you walk out, I think you're probably going to see clouds. But if you walk out, and it was cloudy, no, not cloudy, you'd see the full moon. It's deep in the south over the next week, so that means it's going to be moving high, very higher in the sky. It's near its maximum distance, so if you're tracking this sort of thing, it's a mini-ish moon. Over the following week, it's going to set in the early mornings as a waning gibbous moon. That there is actually a gibbous moon. It's a little bit more than half. Last quarter is on Thursday, the 19th of June. It's just crossed into the north, so that means it's going to get lower into the sky over the next week, the week following Thursday the 19th, that is. It rises at midnight and sets at noon, but over the following week, it'll be a waning crescent. It'll get thinner and harder to see as it approaches the sun. This is the time when you view it in the morning, later in this week in the early afternoon, and then before sunrise. New moon is on the 25th of June, which is time to do some astronomy. You'll see it a couple of days after as a waxing crescent after midnight. Waxing? Yes, that's right, waxing after midnight. First quarter is on the Thursday, the 3rd of July. It rises at noon and sets at midnight, which is the best time for viewing. And then over the following week, it'll be a waxing gibbous moon. It's just crossed to the south on the 2nd, so it will get higher over the next week. There is no lunar X this month. Actually, there is, but it's not visible. It's going to be below the horizon. Okay, so moving to the planets. This is from the ASV yearbook. Mercury is an evening object again. It will come out of the twilight over the next few weeks. It sets about 6 p.m. So that's definitely in the twilight. Venus, as you probably know, is a very bright morning object at the moment. It rises about 3:45, and it's very high when you have your breakfast. Actually, you can see it during the day fairly easily at the moment, particularly in the mornings. Mars is an evening object. It's slowly moving away around. It's rising about midnight. It sets about 10:20, so it's moving fairly slowly. Jupiter has gone. It's currently a daytime object, but it's going to pass the sun on the 25th, and then it will become a morning object, although it's going to be very, very hard to see because it's terribly close to the sun. Saturn is also a morning object. It rises about 1 a.m. And the rings are now starting to open. It's starting to become quite visible now. So if you want to see Saturn with your telescope, yeah, it's a morning thing, but it's quite worth a look if you can find it. It's a little bit dim at the moment. Uranus is a daytime object. It rises about 6 a.m. and sets about 4 p.m. So largely forget that one. Neptune is another morning object. It's very close to Saturn. It's going to stay close to Saturn for most of the rest of this year. It rises about 1:10 a.m. So it's only about 10 minutes out of phase of Saturn. Pluto is a late evening object. It rises at about 8:10 p.m. Now, Pluto is always hard to find. It's easiest to find if you have a camera. Take 2 photographs over about a week's distance, a week apart, and compare the photographs. One of those stars will move. Okay, so getting orientated for the month. This is the sky at 10 p.m. facing south, so it's actually very close to where we are right now. I've got my clock there, sitting on the south celestial pole. The Southern Cross, which is one of our road marking road sign constellations, is just past the meridian. It's about just a little bit past 1 o'clock on that clock. Let's get rid of that clock. Orion, one of our other signposts, has gone, but Scorpius is high in the east. Just at the moment, it's very, very close to the moon. It's really hard to see. Actually, on a slight tangent, Antares went. Is it Antares, which is in Scorpius? Anyway, that one. It was occulted last night by the moon. I got out. I got out into the backyard and I had a good look. However, it was the moon was so bright I could not see Antares at all. So that was a bit of a bust. It's occultations during a full moon are not as good as when a star disappears or reappears behind one of the darkened limbs of the moon. So that's going to happen next month, but at that time it's going to be very, very low on the ground, so it's may not be visible from here. Too bad. Back to orientation. The stars, let's get the clock back. We've got Canopus, which leads the cross around the pole. And a little bit further around the pole is Achernar, which is that's opposite the cross. It's very, very low in the south. It's possibly in trees, depending on where you are. If you're in Tasmania, you might have a better view of that. If you're in the Northern Territory, you probably won't be able to see it at all. The cross itself points kind of to Spica in a curving line. Spica is high in the northwest at the moment. It's not quite in the donut area, but it's very high. If you keep going along that line, you'll get to Arcturus. Now, Arcturus is also just past the meridian. It's high just west of north. Another way of finding Arcturus is, if you can see Scorpius, is follow a line straight through Scorpius to Arcturus. It's halfway across the sky, so it's a fairly large line. Antares, which is in Scorpius, is getting higher in the east. Scorpius itself hasn't crossed the meridian yet. It'll do that in about an hour or so, or possibly next month at 10 p.m. Now, on the northeast horizon, you'll see Altair rising. That's probably still very low at the moment. If you want to see it, it's probably more of a midnight thing, or again, wait until next month, because that'll move into view. Sagittarius, now that's not a signpost constellation, but it's actually where you see the galactic core. It's rising in the east. It's the next one along from Scorpius. And you look for the teapot asterism. So there's me teapot. Once you see the teapot, it's very difficult to unsee it. So it's quite easy to spot. If you can find Scorpius, go find the teapot, and there's a lot of stuff around there, which I'll probably get to. So turning to visual targets for the evening, let's see. Beta Scorpii is a double, and that's the left-hand claw or left-hand, possibly shoulder of the Scorpius. So that's a double star, quite good. You'll need a bit of magnification to be able to see that. NGC 6231, which I think I talked about last month as well. It's one of my favorite names. They called it a false comet nebula, which is just all wrong, because it's not false. It's not a comet and it's not a nebula. It's an open cluster. But it's sitting there in the curl of Scorpius there. M6 is probably one of my favorite open clusters. It's very, very pretty, and that's just outside of Scorpius. The Moth Wing cluster is right smack bang in the middle of that little curve, and that's 6281. That's another open cluster. M7, not far from Butterfly, is the Ptolemy cluster. If you know where it is, you can see M7 with your naked eye. Particularly if you're in a dark sky site, it's big and it's bright, and it's very pretty. It's kind of got an H shape in it, but maybe that's a little bit of pareidolia. Maybe you need a bit of imagination to see that. Antares, again, it's a red giant. Have a look at a red giant every so often in a telescope, just to remind you what that color is like. It's very interesting. The red giants are cool stars, literally cool. They are only about 2,500 Kelvin, which is it's still hot, but it's nowhere near as hot as the 20,000 Kelvins that you get in some of the blue stars. Alpha Centauri, moving away from Scorpius. Alpha Centauri is a double, as is Acrux, another double. They're kind of similar, but I spoke largely about the Crosses area last month, so I'll just rattle through them a little bit. The Carina Nebula is still good. It's a little bit past the meridian now, but if you've either got a dark sky sight or a DOB or something like that, you should be able to get a good view of Carina. It's kind of pretty. Moving on the other side of the sky, I've been neglecting the east a little bit. M11 wild dark cluster, that's rising, so you'll be able to see that over the next few months as well. And just to give you an idea of what the wild duck cluster looks like when it's good, 47 Tuc is probably a better globular cluster, although it's not very well placed at the moment, so they might look kind of similar. So, and one for the other side of the sky, Algorab, Delta Corvi, it's another double. All right. Photographic targets. These are taken from Facebook. This is what you're going to see tonight. Nothing. Let's get rid of that. Okay, Centaurus A. This is a photograph from Ross Horton. He put it up the other day. It's very, very nice. Hello, Ross. 5128. So that's just above the cross there. Running Chicken from Rusty McGrath. It's I don't know. I always put Running Chicken the other way up, but maybe that's just me. Rusty's put it up like that. Nice block globules. Carina Nebula. That's where the Carina Nebula is. It's on the other side of the cross to the pointers. That's, as you can tell, it's one of mine. It's just too green. Sorry. Fighting Dragons of Ara, NGC 6188, one of Kelly's photographs. It's really nice. I particularly like the way you've got the dragon's egg with the outer shells in it. That's very nice. Mark Braithwaite. This is an slightly older photograph of the of M83, but I couldn't go past it. Look at this. Look at the hydrogen alpha in that. That's really, really impressive. There's the butterfly cluster. Thank you to Jeff Healy. As you can see, it's a very pretty cluster, and it doesn't take very much imagination to see a butterfly in that. M8. This is another slightly older photograph of, from Paul Litchin, my boss. This was taken a little while ago using an ED80, I believe. And Triffin Nebula. This is from Anne Marie. Triffin Nebula is a great little cluster, a great little nebula. It's very, very hard to take a good photograph, and Anne Marie's taken a really nice shot there. Andy Latta. This is a visual photograph, or visual image. I think it's certainly not narrowband. M16, the Eagle Nebula, showing the pillars of creation very nicely there. One of Gerald's photographs. Get well soon, Gerald. He's took a tumble the other day. He's belted himself in the face. I think he lost a tooth. Anyway, M17 Omega Nebula. So that's another one of his. I think that's it. Oh no, one more. Jeff Healy's got a nice Corona Australis area. That's there's a lot going on in this photograph. It's quite a wide image. I really like those dark nebulas. That brown color is beautiful, isn't it? That's the chandelier cluster in the top right hand there. That's a little globular cluster, and there's a number of other named nebulas in the top end there. So they're your photographic targets. Tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. The moon's still there, I'm afraid. It's, let's see. So the Southern Cross is getting a little bit low. It's about 4:30. Get rid of that. There we go. Scorpius is starting to set in the southwest now, because Scorpius is sort of a long, thin not galaxy constellation. It does take a long time to set. It takes about 3 hours from the left hand to the right hand to set. It takes a long time. Anyway, Orion hasn't yet risen. Well, you may see that next month or the month after. Sagittarius, the teapot, is still high in the west, so you should be able to get a good look at like M6 and M7, but only when the moon has moved. As for planets, tomorrow morning is probably the good time for the planets, because there's not an awful lot going in the evenings. Venus is very, very bright. It's extremely bright. In fact, you can still practically hear it. Saturn hasn't hit the meridian just yet, but it's very, very high at 5 a.m. Neptune is right next to Saturn. You'll need a Schmidt-Cassegrain to be able to see it, but it's definitely there. It's about a degree away, so it's about a finger width away. Pluto is past the meridian. Again, you can use a camera to see it. You probably won't be able to see it much with your eye. Using a decent sized telescope, you probably can actually see it, but it looks very similar to a star next to it. So I think that's all we've got for 5 a.m. Oh, that says incomplete. Oops. Okay, final notes and random observations. On the 15th of June, the moon occults Pluto. That's at about 4 a.m. I'm not quite sure whether that's going to be an easy one to spot. 21st of June is winter solstice. That's in the day. The 25th of June is when Jupiter goes behind the sun and becomes a morning object. On the 29th, Saturn is closest to Neptune. Now, those two planets are moving so slowly in relation to each other, it's very, very hard to tell actually which day the closest is, but, apparently 29th is the day. On the 4th of July, Earth is at aphelion, which is its closest to the sun, so it's 1.017 AU. In around about early December, I think it's about 0.983, I think, AU from the sun. The Earth's orbit is largely circular, but not quite, so slightly eccentric there. On the 4th of July, Mercury is also at greatest elongation. It's best viewing time. Look west just after sunset. I can see it from my bedroom window. On the 6th of July, Neptune is stationary, starting retrograde. And if you want to know what retrograde means, it means that the planet starts moving backwards in relation to its normal movement. If you ask an astrologer, you'll probably get a slightly different answer. On the 8th of July, Moon occults Antares, but they're very, very close to the horizon. I believe it will actually wink out of existence. Antares will disappear before it sets. That's what Stellarium is telling me. We'll find out. And there we go. There's all my stuff. So if I just stop sharing my screen, we should be able to get back to Mark. Is he there?
He is here.
Yeah,
hopefully
good.
My internet's still working.
Yes,
it seems like it is. Yeah. Telstra 5G for the win. There we go. Again, thank you to Ben for coming along. Thank you to Bill as well for his wonderful talk. We'll chop off Bill's little What's in the Sky and I'll upload that separately in the next day or two as well. So if anyone just wants to watch that, they can. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching tonight. And thank you to Bill and Ben again for presenting this evening. Ben, it seriously has been an honour to have you as... Sorry, together what?
With a flower pot man.
With a flower pot man. Bill and Ben, the flower pot man. Yes, okay. Well, you are a dad, I know. Yes, and as said, I will pop a whole lot of links in the description over the next day or two for finding out more information about the Rover mission. Thank you, and we'll see you next month.
I think he's saying that we'll see you next month.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, see you next month. I'm trying to end it now.